Hi, Stacey Ray here, and I'm located in Peoria, Arizona. How you doing? Just thought I'd pop on real quick and do a quick live. It's been a little bit. So I'm fairly new to TikTok, but I wanted to come and just say hello, and I wanted to talk about strength training for women. So as a personal trainer and health coach, I talk with women all the time about how to spend their best time exercising to get serious results. And one of the ways that you can do that at any age, the sooner the better, but it's never too late to start, especially after 50, is to strength train. And strength training takes a little bit of time and it takes a little bit of effort, but it is well worth it. It is the #1 anti-aging exercise program that you should be doing to turn back time, to be ageless, to be strong. I don't know about you, but I want to age gracefully, but I also want to age strong. I want to age strong. So at 61 years old, I want to just kind of come on here and inspire you. If you're watching my TikToks and you're interested in what I have to say, leave a comment below, leave a little heart, or follow me and I'll follow you. And together let's spread the good news about why it's important for women to strength train. All right, so here's a couple things I have in my hands. I have 1 pound of fat right here and I have 1 pound of muscle right here. And what do you think's a better thing to have on your body? 1 pound of muscle or 1 pound of muscle or 1 pound of fat? The obvious reason is 1 pound of muscle, right? Well, here's why. Muscle is smaller, it's more compact, it takes up less space, and it's what's going to keep your metabolism burning like an incinerator. It's going to just really help you to have your metabolism optimally functioning and running efficiently. When you have more fat on your body, what that does is it helps to slow down your metabolism, especially if you're not weight training, and especially if you're someone that's a little bit more mature and you've gone through the change, all right, gone through menopause, or maybe you're in pre-menopause or mid-menopause or you're postmenopausal, and you're gaining more body fat and you're not strength training and gaining lean muscle mass, then what's going to happen is your metabolism is going to slow down. You're going to gain more body fat. You're going to be just gaining weight all over, and there's a lot that goes into play with that as well. Your hormones are all over the map and so forth. So when I work with clients, I like to give them this visual about what a pound of fat looks like. It's bumpy, it takes up a lot of space, and it also, if you gain enough weight, here's the thing, if you gain enough weight and you're gaining body fat and you're eating incorrectly and you're not exercising, particularly you're not strength training, you're just doing cardio, and you can be exercising as well and also not strength training and gain weight as well. But what happens with your fat cells is they actually expand and then they decrease. And if you gain enough fat cells over time, they expand and shrink, and then over time, sometimes they get so big that they'll separate. And so then you have building of fat cells and separating of fat cells. So that's not a good thing to have, right? So we want to have lean muscle mass. Once again, lean muscle mass, if you look at this example of this pound of muscle, it's more compact, it's smaller, right? So when you lose body fat and you don't lose weight on the scale, then oftentimes what's happening is that you're gaining lean muscle mass and you're losing body fat. So that's really where the golden nugget is, right? For us women that get on the scale, we get on there on Monday morning, we look down and we see 3 numbers, and if they don't go in our favor, then all heck breaks loose, right? We're in a bad mood, we're angry, we're upset, and that runs the show for the rest of the week or the rest of the month or what have you. So I'm here to share with you, if you have any time at all to exercise, my biggest thing is that you strength train. All right, you want lean muscle mass, you want to lose body fat, and you want to be consistent, and then you want to eat enough protein as well to help manage the lean muscle mass that you have and the muscle that you're going to gain. So that's a little bit of tidbit there. So now I want to show you a couple of exercises. I'm not using real heavy weight, but I want to go through a couple of exercises for your upper body. One of them is a mid-back row. So this is a really great area to strengthen, to help with the fat around your bra strap area, your upper back. You want to just pull these elbows in real close and squeeze your shoulder blades together, like you're squeezing the juice out of a grape. All right, so this is called a mid-back row. And that's a great exercise for your upper back. Now another great exercise is a shrug, working your upper middle back. And it's super important that we work our posterior chain, which is the back of your body. And hi to all of you that are tapping in. Thank you so much. The feed's kind of going all over the place and my eyes aren't good enough to see all of your names, but if you're stopping by and watching my live, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Your posterior chain is the back of your body. All right, the back of your body is the posterior chain, and often when I work with clients, I really work with their posterior chain quite a bit because we want to strengthen our rear deltoids, our mid back, our low back, our glutes, our hamstrings, our calves, right? Because that's what carries us around all day, and it's fighting back against gravity. Gravity wants to keep pushing us down, right? Kind of like Satan. He wants to push you down. He doesn't want you to do good. He's lurking in just everywhere we go. Why am I using that analogy? Just because it's kind of the same thing what gravity does to us as well. It wants to push us forward. So how do we counteract that? How do we fight back? We have to strength train. So that mid-back row is a great strength training exercise as well as the shrug. Now here's another one. It's called a reverse fly. So what you want to do is hinge forward, bring your weights out to the side, elbows slightly soft, and squeeze your shoulder blades together. So here's a front view. And here's a side view. It's called a reverse fly. Now, you don't want to use a lot of weight there because your shoulders, especially your rear deltoids, the muscles that you're working, these muscles right here, they're not that strong. You want to get them stronger, but you want to use a weight that's comfortable, that's not going to strain you and hurt you. So with that muscle group, you want to use a little bit lighter weight. With this mid-back row, you could use a little bit heavier weight, but you want to make sure that you pull in your core. You want to be sure that you're pulling in your core and you're breathing as well in that neutral spine, this hip hinge situation here where you're leaning forward. All right, so we did the mid-back row, we did the shrug, and then we did the reverse fly, right? All posterior chain exercises. All right, so I want to show you another great exercise. It's called a deadlift. And oftentimes when I teach a deadlift, I like to start off with teaching my clients the hip hinge because your form is super important. You don't want to just walk into a gym and grab a heavy set of dumbbells and start doing a deadlift because you need to have good form. I'm all about form before weight. All right, so a great way that you can learn how to have good form before you get into a bent knee deadlift is doing a hip hinge. And so what you want to do is just bring your hands behind, open up your legs a little bit, pull your core in, and hinge forward from your hips. So you're going to push your glutes back behind you with a nice flat back, come up and squeeze your glutes. And I'll come to the front here now. So you're hinging forward, pushing your hips back till you feel a nice stretch in the back of the hamstrings, press through your heels and come up and squeeze the glutes. So once again, I'm going to hinge forward, pushing my glutes back behind me. My back is flat, my core is tight to support my low back, and then I'm going to lean forward and I'm going to come all the way up, press through my heels and squeeze my glutes tight. That's called a hip hinge. All right, so hip hinges are a great way to strengthen your posterior chain. So I'm trying to educate you here. What's your posterior chain? It's the back of your body. So if I were to stand here, profile to you watching, if you had an imaginary line that went from the front of my body to the back of my body, it's the anterior, the front, and the posterior. So I'm talking to you about your posterior chain exercises for the posterior chain, which is the back of your body. So once you get the hip hinge down, then you can add a deadlift, right? And I always like to encourage my clients when you're first starting off to do a deadlift, but not with a lot of weight. So get that hip hinge under your belt, have good form, and then add a set of light weights. So now we're going to go ahead and bring these weights in front. We're going to hinge forward from the hips again. Keep the back flat. Feel that stretch in those hamstrings. We don't want to have a rounded back, and we want to come up and squeeze the glutes. There we go. Again, inhale. Bringing the weight slightly towards the shins. Nice flat back, core tight, and come all the way up and squeeze. I'm going to show you one more. Here we go. Breath in, feel the stretch in the hamstrings, all through the posterior chain, and squeeze. So now I'm working, thanks for the hearts, whoever that was, thank you, the back of your rectus spinae, which is your back muscles, your glutes and your hamstrings. All right, and you're even getting into the core there, and it's one of the best exercises that you can do, but you need to earn it. You need to earn the deadlift. All right, let's talk about your hamstrings. Your hamstrings are back here. They're the back of your upper legs, called the hamstring. And a great exercise you can do is just like a single leg curl here. So let me get my balance here. And I want you to just think about bringing your heel up to your glute and squeezing that hamstring. Squeezing that hamstring. All right? Now, I'm pretty strong. I can lift quite a bit of weight, but it's not always about the weight. And I always don't have time to put on an ankle weight, or I don't want to be in a big box gym. I've been there, done that. I've trained there for years. I want to be in a comfortable environment where I can strength train and do the exercises I want to do. So I choose to train out of my home gym, and I choose to train outdoors and what have you. But it's about putting your mind into the muscles when you're working. So when I'm doing this leg curl, I'm not just, letting that list that I need to do run through my head, right? I want to think about this muscle group. So I want to squeeze this hamstring with my mind. I want you to think about traveling into that part of your body when you're training those muscle groups. All right, so it's like you take a trip inside your body. You're going to go on a trip. And I always tell my clients, okay, get ready, because we're going to go on a vacation, and we're going to go into all of these, locations of towns and things like that, but muscle group locations, all right? I know that kind of sounds silly, but when you're doing that mid-back row, I want your mind in the middle part of your back thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades together, all right? When you're doing that shrug, I want your mind to go into the back of your trapezius muscles, those upper back muscles. Think about where you're going. So take your mind with you when you're training, is my point. Reverse fly, same thing. I want you to think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. Take your mind into your rear deltoids. Travel there so that you can connect. You can connect with those muscle groups. You're not just mindlessly going through your workout. All right, then we've got our hip hinge, right? So I'm kind of adding on these movements as I go through the posterior chain. We've got our hip hinge here, and then I added the deadlift with the weights here. I'm just using my body weight right now, but then we went into a deadlift, all right, with really good form, right? Then I went into the hamstring, and I did a little hamstring curl right here. Now, of course, you've got to switch sides and do what you do to one side to the other. My point is I want you to travel with your mind into the muscle groups you're working so you get excellent results. You don't waste your time. I don't know about you, but I'm a mom. I have young adult men now that are my children. They're grown, right? They're in their 20s. But I still am busy. I'm busy doing things, and I don't want to be training for an hour every day. Ladies, if you're training for more than 45 minutes max for your workouts, it's too long. Your body just doesn't know, first of all, it doesn't know where you are. It doesn't know when you're training and where you are. It doesn't know if you're in this big fancy gym overlooking an ocean. It doesn't know if you're Equinox, if you have an Equinox. I'm from California. We had those big, beautiful gyms, very expensive. Your body doesn't know where you are when you're exercising. You could be in your garage with very few things, and you're still getting awesome results. And that's because your body doesn't know where it is, but it knows that you're working it. That's my point. So you don't have to be in a big box, fancy, expensive gym to get results. All you need to do is get started, and you want to get started with some basic exercises that are going to help you get results, and then you slowly build on that. All right, so it's really super important that you just get started, and then you're consistent. I am telling you that if I could give my clients a couple of really, really top-notch, if I could give you some nuggets right now, which I want to do, so I'm going to give you a couple of really great suggestions, is get started, try not to stop and start, and try to stay consistent. Okay, and some weeks are going to be better than others. I know life happens. Life happens to me. Life happened to me today. I trained a ton of clients. I wasn't able to do a whole lot of working out, but I chose one client and I worked out with her a little bit. And then when I'm done doing this live, I'm going to go take a walk. But don't beat yourself up because you have this plan in your head that you think you have to go to the gym, you have to do this hour-long workout, and then something comes up, your kid gets sick, you're stuck at work, traffic was bad, whatever, you don't feel good, and you just don't want to go. That's going to keep you from not going. So tell yourself you can do something small. Maybe you just do 10 minutes and you do something very, very, very gentle for your body. Read your body. If you don't feel like doing weights one day, then do something that you want to do that you will feel good with. Maybe it's a gentle walk. Maybe it's a 10-minute mat Pilates workout, whatever. But you want to be consistent. That's my point there, right? So try not to stop and start. Try to be consistent. Now here's the other thing. life happens, right? So maybe we have 3 or 4 days go by and we haven't exercised and we thought, you know what, forget it, I'm done. I'm just throwing in the towel. It's not working. I'm too busy. No, don't do that. Get started again. Because if you do that and you wait another week, another 3 weeks, another month, and that rolls into 6 months, and that rolls into a year, and then you end up 5 years later and you still haven't gotten back to exercising, you could have. So give yourself some grace, right? Give yourself some grace and get started back up again. It's super, super important. I worked with clients for over 40 years now, and I could go on and on and on about so many stories. But these nuggets are really, really important for you, all right? So if you don't have a trainer, you can always reach out to me here. I work with people all over the world. I work with them online. I'm in Arizona, but that doesn't mean that you and I can't work together. It's never too late to start. So I want to get back to the posterior chain because I want to show you another exercise that's super important for another posterior chain muscle group, your calves, right? So your calves matter. So you can do just like a calf raise. I'm going to turn here, calf raises coming up, and I'm just using the weight of my body as my resistance. I also have my little Pilates socks on because I just got through teaching a little bit of Pilates. But anyway, I'm just doing a body weight calf raise. I'm working my calves. I'm working my balance, I'm pulling in my core, I'm squeezing my glutes, and I'm feeling the love. I feel strong, I feel great. You could even hold up here for a second or so, really challenge yourself with your balance, and you're working your calves. Your calves take you where you want to go. Your lower leg muscles, especially your calves, because remember we're talking about posterior chain muscles, right, are super important to strengthen. They're also super important to stretch. So here's a great stretch. I've done my calf raises. Now I'm getting in a low lunge pattern and pressing to that back heel, and I'm stretching my calf muscle, like 15 to 20 seconds. And then you want to do the other side. All right, super, super important. Okay, now we're not done with talking about the posterior chain because I need to talk to you about your triceps. Yep, these are the muscles in the back of the upper arm. 3 muscles in the back of your upper arm called the triceps. So think about the prefix of triceps. T-R-I means 3. So there's 3 muscles on this tricep and 3 muscles on this tricep. And you know what? These things start to go in, they have a mind of their own, right? Ladies, would you not agree? Like, say something in the comments. They have a mind of their own, right? I know my triceps do. So it's super important that we strength train, because it's one of the most, it's one of those muscles that so many women just get so angry with because they don't understand why they have more fat hanging from the back of their arm than their front. Well, let's talk about it real quick, and then I'm going to show you a couple of exercises for it. The front of your arm, which is part of your anterior, okay, the front of you, is your bicep. And your bicep, there's 2 muscles, hence the prefix bi. Then you have its partner, the tricep, back here, where there's 3 muscles, right? I just educated you on that. Tri means 3, right? So there's another muscle back there. And if you're not strength training and you're not exercising, you're not eating good, nutritious food 80% of the time, not 100%, because no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. Then you're going to start gaining more weight in that part of your body. And for women, we gain weight there, right? Depending upon your body type as well, and I want to touch on that in a moment, we gain weight in certain areas. Now, I'm a mesomorph, okay? A mesomorph means, it means that I'm shaped like an apple. So if I could give you a fruit to kind of match some of the body types. So what that means for me is that I carry my weight that I have extra weight of, and I do have some extra weight on me, and that's okay, I'm a work in progress, in my upper body. And so I carry weight more in my upper body than I do my lower body. And that's a mesomorph body type. We're a little bit more muscular than the other body types. We carry our weight in our upper body. You'll see some men that have really big bellies, or even women, and some women have a smaller little belly. We carry it in the back of our triceps, and we carry it up around our bra strap area. So it's super important for mesomorphs to strengthen their posterior chain. It's super important for all body types to strengthen their posterior chain, but particularly the mesomorphs, because that's where we gain our weight. So I'm constantly working my posterior chain. In fact, I work my posterior chain more than I do the front of me, because when you're walking and you're moving and you're doing everyday things, you're working your anterior, the front of your body, a lot more than you are the back of you. So think about it. Think about it. You go for a walk, right? You're working more of your quadriceps. When you're doing laundry, or you're putting laundry in or pulling laundry out, or you're carrying grocery bags, right? You're working more of your biceps than you are your triceps, right? And when our chest muscles, they're being utilized all day long doing things too. Just in everyday functional living, ADL, adult daily living. But the back of you really doesn't get worked as much as the front of you. So that's why I'm having this conversation with you. I love teaching clients. I love teaching other women about working your posterior chain. It's also going to help your posture. It's going to help you look more confident. You're going to have more self-confidence. You're going to feel better about yourself when you enter a room. You go out for lunch, you go with your husband or your boyfriend or your partner or whoever, and you just feel better entering a room, right? Because you feel like you have confidence when you feel better about your body and when you're stronger and you have better posture. And we work our posture in our posterior chain with all of those other exercises that I showed you. So now, tricep kickback. This is a great exercise to work the back of your tricep. It's a very common one, but it's a really great one. And you want to just lean forward, keep your core tight, and kick back from the elbow. So notice that the only thing that's moving is my elbow joint. Be careful not to hike this shoulder up like this. I often see this, and then I see these little teeny extensions. Shoulder down, core tight, full long range, and squeeze the back of that tricep. Squeeze. Remember, go there with your mind. You're going on a vacation in your body, and I want you to go there and be mentally there when you're training. You're going to get better results. You're going to get such great results because you're committed, and you don't need to be spending hours and hours and hours doing your workout. I've already talked about that. So tricep kickbacks. Here's another great one. It's called an L lift or a lateral lift. Okay, so you just kind of take your arm out to the side. I'm going to turn around. So it's an L lift, one at a time, out to the side, so you're working your long head of your tricep. All right, it's called an L lift. Now with this exercise, you don't need to use a ton of weight, and you shouldn't use a ton of weight because you're lifting your arm laterally, right? So you don't need a big, huge dumbbell. In fact, I would have you start off with maybe 1 pound. If you're super, super new to strength training, I would even have you just start with your arm because form comes before weight. So you're coming all the way out to the side, little squeeze, and then lower down. Out to the side. Out to the side. All right, so start with a lighter weight and then work up to maybe 2 pounds, 3 pounds. I've got a 5 pound dumbbell. I'm pretty strong, but I wouldn't go much more than this, even if I could, just because of the angle. It's a kind of a funky angle, but it's a great exercise. All right, I'm gonna give you one more, all right? One more exercise for the triceps. This is called tricep flip, and it's one of my favorites. So I'm pulling out 3 tricep exercises that I absolutely love for you because these muscles, these triceps, they're hard to change. I'm just going to be really, really honest with you. They're hard to change for me, and they're hard to change. But with perseverance, your body and these hard muscles that are hard to change, they'll change. But you got to put in the work, and then you also need to make good, healthy choices, right? All right, so this is called a tricep flip. Tricep flip, so you're going to hinge forward from your hips, arms back, shoulders down. You can see my weights. I'm going to flip my palms down, and I'm going to turn my palms back up. So down to the ground, up to the ceiling. Down to the ground, up to the ceiling. Let's do 5 more. 5. Now I'm in my triceps, I'm thinking about them, I'm mentally there, I'm connecting, and I'm breathing. Okay, so tricep flip, super awesome exercise for your triceps. All right, so we've gone over quite a few exercises. I'm gonna actually do a recap really quick because I want you to remember. So let me start from the very beginning, all right? Exercise number 1 was a bent over dumbbell row. Want to squeeze the shoulder blades together, core tight. All right, then we rolled up, we did shrugs. straight up and down, working your trapezius muscle, then your upper back. These two exercises, I do want to make sure that I mention, you can use a little bit more weight with these, all right, a little bit more weight with these. If you're a beginner, I would always stick with a lighter weight, okay? Form is always important. It's the most important thing that you'll do. You always want to have better form and then add more weight as you go. So we've got our hip hinge. Remember we did our hip hinge where we had our hands behind? You can always put weights back here too and do a hip hinge with or without weight. If you are a beginner, I highly recommend no weight on that hip hinge. All right, I just have them in my hands and I'm going to move into the deadlift next. But make sure you get your form really down and feel confident with that hip hinge before you move into the bent knee deadlift, all right? So now we're going to go into working, we're going to do our bent knee deadlift. So weights in front, back flat, core tight. Now notice how flat my back is? I'm going to do a deadlift that's incorrect. I'm just going to show you what I often see. Rounding of the back coming down and leading with the head, not the glutes. So coming down and coming up. You need to push your glutes back behind you. Think about your glutes or your your tailbone, like you've got two flashlights on your glutes, on each glute. I know that sounds funny, but I want you to flash those flashlights behind you, behind a wall behind you. So shoulders back and down, core tight, knees bent. Sit back, push the glutes behind you, flash those lights, dumbbells by the shins, and then come all the way up, press through both heels and squeeze the glutes tight. Again, inhale, flat back, and then come up, squeeze, contract. All right, one more thing that I see that's really a problem when I see people doing the bent knee deadlift is that they want to keep their head up and they want to drop their head down. Super important that you keep your head in line with your spine. It's not up, it's not dropped down. It's in line with your spine. So we never want to strengthen one area and sacrifice hurting another. Does that make sense? So I want to strengthen my erector spinae, that's my back muscles that help hold me up against gravity all day. Remember, we've been talking about this. The deadlift is an excellent exercise. It's also going to strengthen your glutes and your hamstrings. That's why it's one of the bodybuilders' most favorite exercises. You see it in the gym all the time. You see influencers all over Instagram, doing deadlifts, and they're doing heavy deadlifts. Let me touch on that for just a second. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be in the gym with some big, huge barbell. I did shows. I did some bodybuilding in my early 20s. That's great. And if you're younger and you're into the CrossFit and you're into that, I love it. I'm not being judgmental here. But for me at 61, I really don't. I want to build lean muscle mass, but I don't want to be throwing down the bar and all of that stuff. I'm willing to go heavier with my dumbbells for sure to lay down more lean muscle mass. But at the same time, I need to be careful of my back and things like that. And I think that also needs to come into play as we get a little bit more mature. We need to really think through the exercises that we choose to do. Because I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not in this just to do this, for a year or two. I want to be doing weight training and aging strong. I want to age strong. I talked with you about that earlier. When I'm hopefully, God willing, in my 90s. Now here's the other thing. I've had 2 heart attacks. Yeah, I've had 2 heart attacks. I had 2 in 2023. So I had a widowmaker heart attack. Only 12% of people live that have a widowmaker heart attack. So God was really good to me. He gave me another chance. And then 2 weeks later, I had another one. So he was like, it was just mind-blowing. But anyway, I have rehabbed myself back from having 2 heart attacks, and my heart is strong and my body's strong. So I kind of have to be careful. But my point being is that you don't have to be in the gym lifting super heavy weight, throwing it down like you see on Instagram and all of these things to get results. So there's a place for that, and there's a time for that. And there's some women that are training like that, and it's awesome. That works for them. That doesn't work for me. So, all right, back to the posterior chain. All right, the other exercise that we were doing was a leg curl. I'm just gonna hold my weights at the side of my body, and I'm gonna bring my heel up to my glute, and I'm gonna squeeze that hamstring. So remember, I gotta put my thinking where my muscle is, squeeze. I'm gonna squeeze that hamstring. So I would probably do like 20 reps on that side and then do the other side. Bringing your heel up to your glute, really squeezing the hamstring. Now I'm just holding these weights here at the side for a little bit of extra overload. The other thing you could do is you could put on an ankle weight, all right? But that's a single leg hamstring curl. That's a fantastic exercise to give you shape in the back of your upper thighs. It's wonderful, all right? And then we did a calf raise, right? So I'm gonna do a calf raise just with dumbbells at my side. And I'm gonna hold up here just a little bit because I wanna get in that balance. All right, very good. All right, calf raises are great. We need to strengthen the muscles in our lower body from the knee, between the knee and the ankle, because we use them so much in everyday life. We use our calves when we're walking, we use our shins, but we're not talking about the front of our body right now. We're talking about the posterior chain. But your calves really, really are important to strengthen and to stretch. So it's an important muscle group, and oftentimes it gets neglected. So make sure that you're training your calves, all right? And there's different ways to do it. And you can sit down and do, lift your heels up and do a seated calf raise. In fact, a seated calf raise is a great thing to do as well because it works the soleus, works the bottom part of your calf, the lower part, and then the upper part of your calf, you work standing. All right, so that's a really good tip that I just gave you right there. Ladies, if you like to be, some of you like heels, some of you like sandals or flip-flops or whatever you like to wear that's cute, you were showing your calves, that's a great way to shape your calves so that you want to shape them to have them working functionally for you as well, because calves aren't just meant to look cute in, dresses and shorts and things like that and fun shoes, but they also play a huge function in your body. Just like your posterior chain, your glutes play a huge function in your body. And too often we have people that have desk jobs, right? Lots of desk jobs that sit on their butt all day. And there is some truth to that term that, we used to hear so long ago about the secretary spread. What happens is if you're sitting too long at a desk job and you're not strength training, you definitely will get weak glutes. And your glutes play a huge function in your body. And it's not to just look hot in a pair of jeans, although that's great too, or in a bathing suit or a pair of workout tights, but they have a function. And you want to have strong, active glutes to help carry your body around, and also to be working and functionally correctly for your body to be optimally functioning. All right, so having strong glutes is important. All right, let's get back to the triceps really quick. Remember, we did the tricep kickback, okay? And I'm just going to demonstrate on this one side because I'm running out of time here. So what you want to do, the exact same amount of reps that you did on one side to the other. Then I did the L lift. Remember, we come out to the side, right? And then the third exercise for the triceps is our tricep flip. Palms down, palms up. Palms down, palms up. Palms down, palms up. 2 more. 1 more. All right? And so I'm going to end my little live here pretty soon here, but I really want to say thank you for watching. I kind of went on a soapbox rant here. And I did want to share with you that I have this cute shirt on by Just Strong. I just became an ambassador for Just Strong, and it's a lot of fun. And if anybody's interested in these are breathable, wonderful racerback shirts. They look great on a mesomorph, I think, and on any body type. And what I love about this company is that they have sizes that are, I think, up to 5X. So it's for all women of all sizes, all body types. The journey of everybody that they want to feel good in a pair of, great, they have great leggings. But anyway, I'm just wearing the tank top today, and I love it. And I love the fact that they're thinking of women of all sizes. All right, I think that's important to include all women, wherever they're at in their journey of health and fitness. So, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope I have brought you some value to this live. We talked about the posterior chain. To wrap it up, we talked about the value of having more muscle and less body fat, right? I mean, you can really see how tight and compact this 1 pound of muscle is, and you see how bumpy and funky shape this is, 1 pound of fat. That's what's inside of us. But when we do more weight training, we become smaller because muscle is smaller. Fat is big. Excuse me, it floats. I mean, it expands, right? Okay, it's not floating, but it does expand, and your fat cells shrink and get bigger and smaller. Excuse me. So anyway, take care. If you're interested in any kind of weight training, drop me some questions. I'll reach out to you. Thanks for watching. God bless until next time. Take care. Bye.